The gathering storm. In the dimly lit command center of Fort Valor, Captain Leo Hartman stood before a massive screen displaying tactical maps of Earth and its surrounding space. The atmosphere was thick with tension as military personnel scurried about, preparing for what could be humanity's most significant conflict yet. Leo's mind raced with thoughts of past wars, of brothers in arms lost and victories hard won. The United States Marines had always been at the forefront of defending their nation, but this time it felt different. This time, they were facing an enemy from beyond the stars. As he gazed at the flickering lights on the map, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that history was repeating itself. Humanity had long been known for its propensity for war, it was ingrained in their very nature. Yet, there was something uniquely resilient about them, a determination to rise from the ashes of conflict stronger than before. He thought of his grandfather, who had fought in World War II and often recounted tales of bravery and sacrifice. Those stories had shaped Leo into the man he was today, a leader willing to face any challenge head-on. "Captain Hartman," a voice interrupted his thoughts. It was Lieutenant Sarah Blake, his trusted second-in-command. "We need to finalize our deployment strategy before the briefing." Leo nodded, shaking off his reverie. "Right. Let's gather everyone in the war room." As they walked through the bustling corridors filled with soldiers preparing for battle, Leo felt a sense of pride swell within him. The Marines were not just soldiers, they were a family bound by honor and duty. Each one had volunteered to protect their home, willing to sacrifice everything for the greater good. In the war room, officers gathered around a large table strewn with holographic projections of enemy ships detected near Earth's orbit. General Marcus Trent presided over the meeting, his stern demeanor commanding respect from all present. "Listen up," he began, his voice steady and authoritative. "We are facing an unprecedented threat from an alien race known as the Zeltharans. Their ships have already breached our outer defenses, and we must act swiftly to repel them." Murmurs rippled through the room as officers exchanged worried glances. The Zeltharans were rumored to be technologically advanced and ruthless in battle, a far cry from any adversary humanity had faced before. Leo stepped forward, his heart pounding with determination. "Sir, if I may suggest." "Captain Hartman," General Trent cut him off sharply. "We need facts and figures right now, not suggestions." Leo felt a wave of frustration wash over him but held his tongue. He understood that emotions ran high in times like these, fear could cloud judgment more than anything else. "Lieutenant Blake," General Trent continued, "I want you to coordinate with our intelligence team and gather all available data on their fleet." "Yes, sir," Sarah replied promptly. As discussions continued around him, Leo's mind drifted again to what lay ahead, the uncertainty of war against an enemy that had never set foot on Earth but posed an existential threat nonetheless. He thought back to his training days when he had learned about humanity's long history of conflict, how each generation faced its own battles yet emerged united. Suddenly, Leo's thoughts were interrupted by an urgent alert blaring throughout the facility. "All personnel report to battle stations," echoed through loudspeakers as red lights flashed ominously overhead. The gravity of their situation hit him like a punch to the gut. They were no longer just preparing for war, it had begun. "Let's move," Leo shouted as he rallied his fellow Marines into action. The sound of boots pounding against metal floors filled the air as they rushed towards their designated posts, each soldier knowing their role in this fight for survival. As they reached their positions on the perimeter defense line outside Fort Valor, Leo took a moment to survey his surroundings. The sky was darkening with ominous clouds rolling in from beyond the horizon, a fitting backdrop for what lay ahead. He could see flashes of light illuminating distant shapes in space, the Zeltharan ships descending toward Earth like harbingers of doom. "Stay sharp," he commanded as he steadied himself against a barricade while scanning for incoming threats through his rifle's scope. The first wave hit hard, an explosion rocked Fort Valor as alien projectiles struck nearby structures. Chaos erupted around them, soldiers shouted orders while others scrambled to maintain control amid panic. But amidst this turmoil stood Captain Leo Hartman, a beacon of hope amidst despair, ready to lead his comrades into battle against all odds. With unwavering resolve burning within him like fire igniting dry brushwood, he knew one thing above all else: humanity would not back down without a fight. As he prepared himself for what was sure to be one of the fiercest battles in history, a clash between two worlds, he felt an overwhelming sense of pride wash over him once more. They were Marines, warriors forged in adversity, and they would prove once again that fear would not dictate their fate. This is part 1 of your story titled, Humans Were Said to Fear War, but the U.S. Marines proved otherwise. First Contact. The tension in the air was palpable as Dr. Elena Vasquez adjusted her glasses and peered at the holographic display before her. The research facility, known as the Nexus Lab, was buzzing with activity. Scientists and military personnel worked side by side, their eyes glued to screens filled with data about the alien race threatening Earth. Elena was determined to uncover the truth behind the Zelthrans and their intentions. A race against time. The recent skirmishes had left Earth on high alert. Elena's team had been tasked with analyzing alien technology recovered from downed ships. She knew that understanding their capabilities could change the course of the conflict. As she sifted through the data, she felt a mix of excitement and dread. What if the aliens were more advanced than they appeared? Dr. Vasquez called out her colleague, Dr. Amir Patel, rushing into the lab. You need to see this. Elena turned to face him, her heart racing. Amir was holding a tablet displaying an analysis of alien communication frequencies. We intercepted a transmission, he said breathlessly. It seems they're trying to establish contact. The message. Elena's mind raced as she processed this information. If the Zelthrans wanted to communicate, it could mean they weren't solely focused on destruction. She quickly gathered her team around her workstation. Listen up, she said, projecting the transmission onto a larger screen. The sound waves transformed into visual patterns, revealing a complex sequence of pulses and tones. This could be our chance to understand them better. As they worked to decode the message, Elena felt a surge of hope. Perhaps there was still a way to avoid full-scale war. Unexpected allies. Hours passed as the team labored over the alien signals. Just as fatigue began to set in, Amir shouted, I think I've got it. The room fell silent as he translated the patterns into recognizable words. We come in peace, he read aloud, disbelief evident in his voice. We seek understanding. Elena's heart raced at the implications of this discovery. Could it be true? Were the Zelthrans not here to conquer but rather to communicate? This revelation could change everything. Prepare a response, Elena instructed her team, her voice steady with determination. If they want to talk, we need to show them that we are willing to listen. A delicate balance. As preparations for their response began, Elena felt a weight on her shoulders. The stakes were incredibly high, one misstep could lead to catastrophic consequences for both species. She understood that while some factions within Earth's military were eager for conflict, others sought peace. In a meeting with General Marcus Trent later that day, Elena presented her findings. The general listened intently but maintained a skeptical expression. Dr. Vasquez, he said after she finished, you must understand that we cannot trust them completely. They are still an unknown entity. I know that, Elena replied firmly. But we have an opportunity here, an opportunity to learn about them before we resort to violence. General Trent sighed deeply, weighing his options carefully. I'll consider your proposal, he finally said, though his tone suggested he remained unconvinced. The response. Back at Nexus Lab, Elena and her team worked tirelessly to craft a message that would convey humanity's desire for peace while still maintaining caution. They decided on a simple yet powerful phrase, we seek understanding. As they prepared to send their response through the same communication channels used by the Zeltharans, Elena felt a mix of anxiety and hope. Would they respond positively? Or would this gesture be seen as weakness? With one final glance at her team, she pressed the button to transmit their message into the void of space. The waiting game. Days passed with no reply from the Zeltharans, and tension mounted within both Earth's military and scientific communities. The general atmosphere shifted, some began preparing for an inevitable conflict while others clung to hope for peaceful resolution. Elena spent sleepless nights at Nexus Lab, analyzing every piece of data they had on the Zeltharans while waiting for a response that might never come. Then one fateful morning, just as dawn broke over the horizon, an alert blared through the facility. "Incoming transmission," shouted Amir from his station. Elena rushed over as excitement surged through her veins. This could be it, the moment they had been waiting for. A new perspective. As they decoded the incoming message, it became clear that it was not just a confirmation of receipt, it was an invitation, a request for an in-person meeting on neutral ground. "They want us to meet them," Amir said incredulously. Elena's heart raced at this unexpected turn of events. "We have to go," she declared decisively. General Trent was less enthusiastic about this idea when she presented it to him later that day. "Dr. Vasquez," he began cautiously, "meeting them face-to-face could be dangerous." "I understand your concerns," she replied earnestly. "But we can't let fear dictate our actions any longer. This is our chance." After much deliberation and pressure from various factions within Earth's leadership who supported her initiative for peace, General Trent reluctantly agreed to send a small delegation led by Dr. Vasquez herself. The journey begins. Preparations for their journey were swift yet thorough. Elena felt both exhilarated and terrified at what lay ahead. As she boarded the ship designed for interstellar travel alongside military personnel tasked with protection, she couldn't shake off feelings of uncertainty about what awaited them on this alien world. As they traveled through space toward their destination, a planet known as Zenthra, Elena gazed out at the stars twinkling against an endless expanse of darkness beyond their ship's windows. "Whatever happens," she whispered under her breath, "we must remember why we're here." With determination etched across her features and hope burning brightly within her heart, Dr. Elena Vasquez prepared herself for what would be one of humanity's most significant encounters, a first contact that could either forge alliances or ignite war. The battle plan. As the ship glided through the shimmering expanse of space, Dr. Elena Vasquez felt a mixture of excitement and anxiety. The journey to Zenthra was unlike anything she had ever experienced. The vastness of the universe surrounded her, and she couldn't help but wonder about the alien civilization they were about to meet. Would they be allies or enemies? The weight of this question pressed heavily on her mind. Arrival at Zenthra. After what felt like an eternity, the ship finally approached Zenthra. The planet was a vibrant blue and green sphere, teeming with life. As they descended through the atmosphere, Elena marveled at the breathtaking landscapes below, towering mountains, lush forests, and sprawling oceans that sparkled in the sunlight. It was a stark contrast to the war-torn Earth they had left behind. The ship landed smoothly on a designated platform, and Elena took a moment to gather her thoughts before stepping out. She was greeted by a group of Zeltharan representatives, their tentacle-like appendages swaying gracefully as they moved. Their bioluminescent skin shimmered in various colors, creating an almost hypnotic effect. First impressions. "Welcome, humans," one of the Zeltharans said, its voice melodic yet firm. "I am Krax Vuan, first speaker of the Diplomatic Corporation. We are honored by your presence." Elena stepped forward, her heart racing. "Thank you for having us. I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez, and this is my team." She gestured to her colleagues, who stood behind her, equally awestruck. As they exchanged greetings, Elena couldn't shake off the feeling that this meeting could change everything for both species. The Zeltharans appeared peaceful, yet she knew that appearances could be deceiving. The meeting chamber. Krax led them to a grand meeting chamber adorned with intricate designs that reflected Zeltharan culture. The walls pulsed with soft light, creating an atmosphere of serenity. As they settled into their seats around a circular table, Elena felt a sense of anticipation in the air. "Let us begin," Krax said, his tentacles gracefully gesturing toward a holographic display that illuminated the room. "We wish to understand your species better and discuss how we can coexist peacefully." Elena took a deep breath and began explaining humanity's history, its triumphs and failures, its wars and moments of unity. She spoke passionately about the resilience of humans in the face of adversity and their innate desire for peace. Cultural exchange. As the conversation progressed, Krax shared insights into Zeltharan culture, their values of harmony and collaboration among different species in the galaxy. He explained how their society had evolved from conflict to cooperation over millennia. "We have witnessed many civilizations rise and fall," Krax said solemnly. "We believe that understanding each other is crucial to preventing war." Elena nodded in agreement. "We've learned similar lessons on Earth," she replied. "It's often through our darkest moments that we find strength in unity." The dialogue flowed naturally as both sides exchanged stories and experiences. For every tale of human struggle, there was a corresponding Zeltharan story that echoed themes of perseverance and hope. A growing bond. As hours passed in what felt like mere minutes, Elena realized that they were building a rapport, a bridge between two worlds that had once seemed so distant. The initial fears began to dissipate as mutual respect grew. However, amidst this burgeoning friendship lay an undercurrent of tension. Earth's military leaders were still wary of the Zeltharans' true intentions. Elena knew she had to address these concerns head-on. "Krax," she said cautiously, "there are those on my planet who fear your people may have ulterior motives." Krax's bioluminescent patches shifted to a calming blue hue as he responded thoughtfully. "We understand your apprehension. Trust is not easily given, it must be earned. A plan for cooperation." With this understanding in mind, Elena proposed a plan for cooperation, joint training exercises between Earth's Marines and Zeltharan forces to foster trust and camaraderie. "We can learn from each other," she suggested enthusiastically. "Your advanced technology combined with our combat experience could create an unparalleled alliance." Krax considered her proposal carefully before nodding slowly. "This could indeed strengthen our bond while demonstrating our commitment to peace." The two sides began discussing logistics, how they could implement joint training sessions and share knowledge about their respective military strategies without compromising security. Preparing for challenges ahead. As plans took shape, Elena couldn't help but feel optimistic about what lay ahead. However, deep down inside her mind lingered doubts. Would their leaders accept this partnership? Would there be factions on both sides resistant to change? That evening, as they concluded their discussions for the day, Krax invited Elena to witness a traditional Zeltharan ceremony, a celebration of unity among different species in their galaxy. The ceremony was breathtaking. Lights danced across the night sky while music filled the air with harmonious melodies that resonated within her soul. For a moment, all thoughts of war faded away as she immersed herself in this new culture. Reflections under stars. Later that night, as Elena gazed up at Zenthara's 3 moons illuminating the landscape with ethereal beauty, she felt hopeful for both Earth and Zelthara's future together. Back on Earth, Captain Leo Hartman was preparing his Marines for potential conflict while grappling with his own fears about what might happen if these negotiations failed. But here on Zenthara, surrounded by newfound allies, Elena believed there was still time for peace if only they could navigate these uncharted waters together. With determination burning brightly within her heart like stars scattered across an endless sky above them all, she resolved not just to fight against war but also strive towards understanding, a battle worth fighting for indeed. The Marine Spirit. The sun rose over Fort Valor, casting a warm glow on the military base that had become a second home for many Marines. Sergeant Mia Torres stood in front of a group of young recruits, her heart swelling with pride as she prepared to address them. She had always believed that the spirit of the Marines was more than just about fighting, it was about resilience, camaraderie, and an unwavering commitment to protect humanity. Inspiring the next generation. Listen up, everyone. Mia called out, her voice cutting through the morning air. The recruits straightened up, their eyes focused on her. Today, we're not just going to train, we're going to learn what it means to be a Marine. As she spoke, Mia recalled her own journey, how she had joined the Marines to honor her family's legacy. Her father had served in the military, and his stories of bravery and sacrifice had inspired her to follow in his footsteps. She wanted these recruits to understand that being a Marine was not just about following orders, it was about standing up for what was right and fighting for those who couldn't fight for themselves. A legacy of courage. Mia shared stories from her own experiences in combat, tales of overcoming adversity and facing impossible odds. She spoke of battles fought not just against enemies but against fear itself. We've all heard the saying that courage isn't the absence of fear, she said passionately. It's about facing that fear head-on and pushing through it. The recruits listened intently, their expressions shifting from uncertainty to determination. Mia could see that they were beginning to grasp the essence of what it meant to be part of something greater than themselves. Training together. After her speech, Mia led the recruits through rigorous training exercises designed to build both physical and mental strength. They practiced combat maneuvers, obstacle courses, and teamwork drills. With each challenge they faced together, Mia saw their confidence grow. Remember, she shouted during a particularly tough drill, we're not just training for ourselves, we're training for each other. You may be tired now, but every drop of sweat brings us closer to being ready for whatever comes our way. As they pushed through their limits, Mia felt a surge of pride in her heart. These young men and women were not just learning how to fight, they were learning how to be part of a family, a brotherhood and sisterhood that would stand together no matter what. A call to action. Later that evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Mia gathered the recruits around a campfire. The crackling flames illuminated their faces as they shared stories and laughter. It was moments like these that reinforced their bond. Tomorrow, Mia began, her tone shifting to one of seriousness, we'll be participating in joint exercises with our new allies, the Zeltharans. The mention of their alien counterparts stirred mixed feelings among the recruits. Some were excited about the opportunity to work alongside beings from another world, while others expressed skepticism. What if they turn on us? One recruit asked hesitantly. Mia met his gaze firmly. That's why we train together, to build trust and understanding. We can't let fear dictate our actions. Remember what I said today, courage is facing fear head-on. Building trust. As the days passed, Mia continued to lead training sessions with both Earth's Marines and Zeltharan forces. At first, there were cultural differences that created tension, different styles of communication and approaches to teamwork, but slowly, they began to find common ground. Mia made it a point to encourage collaboration between the two groups. During joint exercises, she would pair up Marines with Zeltharans, fostering an environment where they could learn from each other's strengths. Show them what we can do, she would shout during drills as she watched them adapt and grow stronger together. A moment of unity. One day during training, an unexpected challenge arose when a simulated attack scenario went awry. A malfunction caused confusion among both teams as they struggled to coordinate their responses. Mia quickly stepped in, rallying everyone together. Listen up. This is exactly why we train. We need to communicate and trust each other. Let's show them what we're made of. Her words reignited their resolve as they worked together seamlessly to overcome the obstacle. In that moment of chaos transformed into unity, Mia realized they were no longer just Marines or Zeltharans, they were allies fighting for a common goal. Facing doubts. However, despite their progress, doubts lingered in some corners of Fort Valor. General Marcus Trent remained wary of fully trusting the Zelthrans despite Elena Vasquez's insistence on their peaceful intentions. During a strategy meeting with military leaders, General Trent expressed his concerns openly. "We cannot afford any mistakes," he said sternly. "If we let our guard down and they betray us." Mia listened closely but felt compelled to speak up. "Sir," she interjected respectfully but firmly. "We have been training alongside them for weeks now. I've seen firsthand their dedication and commitment." General Trent regarded her with skepticism but nodded for her to continue. "I believe that if we show them trust," Mia continued passionately, "they will reciprocate it in kind." An uncertain future. Despite Mia's efforts to bridge gaps between Earth's military leadership and their new allies, uncertainty loomed over Fort Valor like dark clouds before a storm. As preparations continued for an upcoming joint exercise meant to showcase their newfound collaboration before higher command officials from both sides, tensions remained high. Mia understood that while they had made progress on the ground level, building relationships among soldiers, the true test lay ahead when faced with external threats. With determination etched across her features as she looked out over Fort Valor's sprawling grounds one evening after training concluded, she resolved not only to protect humanity but also strive towards understanding between species, a battle worth fighting indeed. The Clash of Titans. As the sun dipped below the horizon on Zenthra, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Both Earth's Marines and the Zelthrans prepared for the joint training exercise that would serve as a demonstration of their newfound alliance. Sergeant Mia Torres stood at the forefront, her heart racing with excitement and anxiety. This was more than just a training exercise, it was a symbol of hope for both species. Setting the stage. The training ground was vast, surrounded by lush greenery and towering mountains that loomed in the distance. The Marines had set up their equipment alongside Zelthran technology, creating a unique blend of human ingenuity and alien innovation. As Mia surveyed the area, she felt a sense of pride in what they had accomplished together. "All right, everyone," Mia called out, gathering both Marines and Zelthrans. "Today is our chance to show what we can do as allies. Remember, this is about trust and teamwork." The recruits nodded, their expressions reflecting a mix of determination and nervousness. They knew that this exercise would not only test their skills but also their ability to work together in the face of uncertainty. The first challenge. The exercise began with a simulated attack scenario. A holographic enemy force appeared on the battlefield, and both teams had to work together to neutralize the threat. Mia took charge, directing her fellow Marines while also encouraging Zelthran soldiers to share their tactics. "Zelthrans, use your cloaking technology to flank from the left," she shouted. "Marines, provide cover fire from the right." As the exercise unfolded, Mia watched in awe as Earth's Marines and Zelthrans coordinated their movements seamlessly. The Zelthrans' ability to blend into their surroundings complemented the Marines' strategic combat skills perfectly. However, amidst this display of unity, there were still moments of hesitation. Some Marines struggled to trust their alien counterparts fully, while certain Zelthrans remained cautious about human unpredictability. A moment of crisis. Just as things seemed to be going smoothly, an unexpected malfunction occurred in one of the training drones. It began firing live rounds instead of simulated ones, causing chaos on the field. "Get down!" Mia yelled as she dove for cover alongside her team. The situation escalated quickly as panic spread among both groups. In that moment of crisis, Mia's training kicked in. She spotted a group of recruits frozen in fear and knew she had to act fast. "Follow me. We need to regroup," she shouted, rallying her fellow Marines and Zelthrans alike. Krax Vuan, observing from a distance, saw Mia's leadership shine through. He activated his bioluminescent patches to signal his soldiers to follow her lead. Unity in adversity. With Mia at the helm, they formed a defensive perimeter around the recruits who were still disoriented from the sudden chaos. Together, they worked to disable the rogue drone while ensuring everyone remained safe. "Cover me!" Mia shouted as she sprinted toward the drone's control panel. Her heart raced as she focused on disabling it before anyone got hurt. With a few quick movements, she managed to shut down the drone just in time. As silence fell over the training ground once more, relief washed over everyone present. "Good job!" Krax exclaimed as he approached Mia after ensuring his soldiers were unharmed. "Your quick thinking saved lives today." Mia smiled back at him, feeling a sense of camaraderie grow between them. "We did this together," she replied earnestly. Reflection on leadership. Later that evening, as they gathered around a campfire under Zenthra's 3 moons, both teams reflected on what had transpired during the exercise. The initial fear had transformed into respect and understanding. Mia shared her thoughts with everyone gathered around the fire. "Today showed us that we can overcome obstacles when we work together," she said passionately. "We may come from different worlds, but our goals are aligned." The recruits nodded in agreement, feeling inspired by Mia's words. They understood that this experience had forged bonds that would last well beyond their time on Zenthra. A new threat emerges. However, as they celebrated their successes that night, an ominous shadow loomed over their newfound alliance. Unknown to them, factions within both Earth's military and among certain Zelthrans were opposed to cooperation with one another. In a darkened chamber on Nexus Prime, military advisor Xena Brgh watched footage from Zenthra with concern etched across her features. "They are growing too close," she muttered under her breath. "We cannot allow this alliance to solidify." Xena knew that if these two forces united completely, it could threaten her people's dominance in the galaxy. She began plotting ways to undermine their cooperation without revealing her intentions too soon. A test of trust. Back on Zenthra, tensions simmered beneath the surface as both sides prepared for further joint exercises. Mia sensed unease among some members of her team who questioned whether they could fully trust their alien allies after witnessing how quickly chaos could erupt during training. Determined to quell these doubts before they escalated into something more significant, Mia organized team-building activities designed specifically for bonding experiences between humans and Zelthrans. "Let's show them what we're made of," she encouraged during one such activity, a friendly competition involving strategy games that required collaboration between both species. As laughter filled the air and friendships blossomed amidst playful banter, Mia felt hopeful that they could overcome any lingering fears together. The road ahead. As days turned into weeks on Zenthra, Mia continued leading efforts towards fostering unity while preparing for potential challenges ahead, both from external threats lurking beyond their borders and internal conflicts brewing within each faction's ranks. With every passing moment spent training alongside Krax Vuan and his soldiers, she believed more firmly than ever that humanity could prove itself worthy not just through strength but also through understanding, a lesson learned through hardship yet again. And so they marched forward, readying themselves for whatever lay ahead, a clash not just against enemies but also against doubt itself, a battle worth fighting for indeed.